Day trading doesn't have to be so hard. Let me give you guys a backstory of when I was coming up as a trader. My biggest problem when it came to trading was not the consistency, was not the trades themselves, it wasn't a strategy, it was my risk management. And I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, risk management, I heard this 5,000 times. Yes, but let me explain why this is going to be different. Because the reason why I conquered risk management wasn't because of the risk management itself. The reason why I conquered risk management was because I changed my mindset and how I viewed risk management. I think when it comes to emotions and when it comes to trading, a lot of you guys have it kind of backwards. You guys are trying to find a new thing to learn in order to conquer that emotional aspect of trading. But if you rethink how you think about that aspect of trading, you'll actually not have emotions towards it because you think of it in a different way. And that's what I'm going to kind of go over in today's video. Now, one of the reasons why I would hold a losing trade is because I would think that I'm smarter than the market. Number one, it's accountability. I thought that I was smarter than the market. And you might not think so, but you actually think so, because if you didn't sell on your stop loss, you're basically telling the world that I don't need a stop loss because this potentially can go back up, which means that you think that you're smarter than the market because that stop loss means that that trade is not going to go back in your direction, or it's not going to go back in your direction during that period of whenever you're supposed to trade, if you're a scalper, etc. So by not sticking to your stop loss, you think that number one, you're smarter than the data, you're smarter than your plan, and you're smarter than the market, which is not the case at all. Nobody's smarter than the market, and if you think so, the market will humble you really fast. The next thing that I had to think about, so we thought about the accountability, right? We have to understand the problem. And the problem is within ourselves. It's not about the strategy. It's not about the risk management, the emotions, or anything like that. It's why does emotions come in play when we're about to take this trade? When we're about to hit our stop loss? When our risk management is in play? When we're about to lose money? We have to think of the why in order to find the solution. Now, the next thing is we don't have enough data. We're not thinking about it correctly. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you guys have not seen the math behind becoming a profitable trader. It's either you guys just are here just to make money, or you guys are new, because you guys need to break down the math behind the trades themselves. And what do I mean by that? So let's break this down. In order to be profitable, we would need a 51% win rate with a 1-to-1 risk to reward. A 51% win rate with a 1-to-1 risk to reward, which is not that hard. If we change this number from a 1-to-1 to 1-to-2, and all we would need is a 33% win rate to be profitable. If we bring this down even more, a 1-to-3 risk to reward, all we would need is a 25% win rate to be profitable. So with this risk to reward, right, we would need to win 1 out of 4 trades. So let's say we lost $5, lost $5, lost $5, and then gained $15. We would be break even with a 25% win rate. So knowing this math, let's do a 1-to-2 risk to reward. 1 out of 3 trades. So let's say we lost $5, and then made 10. We're break even at a 33% win rate. I don't know about you, but when I first discovered this, right, and I really actually thought about it, I'm like, this win rate is so low. It's like, how am I not profitable? This win rate is so low that it makes me want to stick to my stop loss, because you're telling me, right, all of these people are unprofitable. All of these people suck at trading. And it's not because of their trading, it's because of the risk. Because every single person you have ever talked to, they don't say, oh yeah, I like slowly burn the account little by little. No, they'll say, oh, you know, I had good months, and then they blew their account. 90% of people you talk to say they blow their account, or they do something stupid or something like that. So I'm like, okay, well, don't put me in the same category as that, because I'm doing the math here. A 1 to 2 risk to reward. Let's just focus on that. A 1 to 2 risk to reward with a break-even point of a 33% win rate. If I get this thing to 40%, I'm profitable, right? I'm super profitable as we're coming up, right? Imagine a 50% win rate, etc. So if I follow my plan and I just do this, right? I'm just thinking about it mathematically. I'm not even thinking about the money, because if I'm thinking about the money, I'm going to be unprofitable, right? Because it doesn't make any sense. Let me just think about it from a mathematical perspective. If I get in a trade and I have a 1 to 2 risk to reward, if I win 40% of the time, I'll be nicely profitable on a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So if I stick to my stop loss, right, which is that 1 on the risk, and I have a goal to make double my risk, which is literally like this setup right here, and I win more than 33% of the times, I'll be profitable. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me change my perspective, and I'm not thinking about the trades. I'm not thinking about the money. All I'm thinking about is my risk. All right, I'm going to sell all my stop loss, and I'm just going to set a take profit of 2 of that, which is this exact setup right here. And when I tell you, when I didn't think about anything else, and all I thought about was my biggest problem, which was risk management, in a different perspective, and I'm like, yo, like this is easy, right? I have the strategy down, I have everything down. Let me just do this. And I would lose some, but then I would win some. And I'm like, yo, I'm like actually profitable. Like this is actually like a system. Like this is actually working. Like how is this working? Right? How am I consistently having a profitable P&L, right? This is literally my P&L chart. And when I had that switch in my head, that's when everything changed. And if you don't understand it from this video, I get it, because it took me a lot of time to switch my mindset when it came to this, but just break it down. It's like, yo, a 1 to 2 risk reward with a 33% win rate. I have the strategy on, I have everything down. If I just have a 1 to 2 risk reward, not thinking about anything else, not having any other factors, if I break it down like this, and let's say I get a 40% win rate out of it, all I need to do is figure out how to increase my win rate. I'm not worried about the downside, right? I'm not worried about blowing my account. What I'm worried about is what is going to move this win rate. That's going to be the next step. But the problem is you guys are trying to go on all these other steps when, if you just look in front of you, the reason why most of you guys fail is because you're not even thinking about trading the right way, to where you guys are like, oh, how do I tame my emotions? By not having emotions, by thinking about it differently. So then you wouldn't need to tame any emotions. And this is just one thing that I go over in my mentorship. I literally handhold you to profitability in my mentorship. That is a link in the description below. You guys can apply for that. There's limited spots, but hopefully this video helped you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.